Hello everyone, welcome back. Exciting news, I guess.
Yes, I mean, I would say definitely.
We moved to Georgia.
Yes.
Where to begin?
Well, we started our trip in Oklahoma, right?
Uh-huh.
We spent a couple nights along the way at different Cracker Barrel locations in our RV, pulling a car dolly with the car on it, which is a Chevy Trax, and it was not fun to drive that vehicle, pulling that other vehicle, but we had a really fun trip.
We did have a
We
really
got to
fun
do some
trip.
cool stuff along the way.
We made the most of it. It was not without incident.
No, something came up at every corner, which we
Every
expected.
Single day
Yes, something happened.
of the trip, something went wrong. Day one, we overheated.
Yes.
And our oil pressure went up, I think, because we overheated. But we also knew that we were going to be in need of an oil change soon.
Yes.
So we pulled off, let it cool down, got back on the road. Oil pressure didn't go down. So we pulled back off. Suddenly the oil pressure starts to go down. So we get back on the road and end up making it to our first destination.
Yes.
Albeit about 3-4 hours late.
Yes. Yeah, it was funny because we were trying to catch a movie, which would have started at 10:45, and we didn't get into town until about
1:30.
Yeah. So definitely didn't catch that. That's fine.
We are currently borderline stuck in, where are we?
Clearview, I think.
Clearview, Oklahoma, on the first leg of our trip because the engine started running a little hot. So it looks like we're going to need a oil change earlier than anticipated, which is fine. We're just going to have to schedule more breaks into the trip to let it cool down. We managed to get the first about 2 hours of our drive out of the way before we started having any issues. So I think once we let her cool down for an hour or so, we'll be good to hit the road again for another good stretch and hopefully still get to our goal of getting to Conway tonight. So our home last night was a Cracker Barrel parking lot in Conway, Arkansas, which we ended up making it to a little later than expected because of a few hiccups. We ended up getting in, I guess, between 1 and 2 a.m. It is now 8 a.m. We've gotten a little bit of sleep. We're gonna go in and give the Cracker Barrel some business as a thank you for letting us park in their parking lot. And then we'll get ready to head out on day 2 of driving. Are you excited, Chloe? Are you excited, Roto and Raven? Oh yeah. We're ready to go.
So we ended up getting an oil change the next morning in the Conway, Arkansas, North Little Rock, Arkansas area.
At a really nice place.
Yes. The people were so kind. Big Rock
Auto.
Big Rock Auto in North Little Rock.
in
They were
North Little Rock.
amazing. Amazing.
They were so nice. They actually noticed that we had some loose lug nuts on our tires.
Yes.
And tightened them up for us with their impact for no extra charge.
Yeah.
They were super nice people. Got us in and out.
Gave us water for the dogs while we waited.
Gave us cold water for the dogs while we waited. And overall, really good experience with them. And we were able to get back on the road and continue our journey. Was that the day we were headed to Birmingham? That was.
We were going to get to Birmingham, but we didn't quite make it. No.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we stopped in West Memphis, Arkansas, and we had some really good seafood.
Yeah.
At Red Pier.
Yes.
Red Pier in West Memphis.
Next to the Kroger.
Yes, and so we and then we continued our journey. We went through Memphis, and we were going to go to Birmingham, but we ended up stopping at New Albany.
Yes. Okay, so nothing
Mississippi.
No, that was the day that the bikes fell.
The bikes fell.
That was the day that the bikes fell. Okay. Okay, so day 2 of the trip has been going great for the most part. We stopped and got our oil change so that wouldn't be an issue anymore. We've put Arkansas, Tennessee in our rearview mirror. We are crossing through Mississippi right now. Sorry, you just can't see me. All was going well, and all of a sudden the pin on our bike rack fell out and our bikes just fell forward. So we had to just pull off the road and assess that situation. And the pin was obviously nowhere to be found. It has been left in the dust somewhere back on that highway.
It's gone.
So we had to figure out how to take the bikes off, and we were going to take the whole rack off, and then we realized that it is bolted in and we have no wrenches.
I have no idea where my toolbox is at the moment.
Yeah, couldn't find the toolbox. So we managed to find the key to the lock on the bike rack, take the bikes off, and use the bungees that we had for extra security on the bikes to bungee the bike rack to the grill and front bumper.
Can you see it?
So that it will stay up. Let me see if I can. I don't know if you can see it, but she is bungeed into place. But with no bikes on her, that should be good enough to get us where we're going. We're just gonna have to.
When it fell, it took a good 20 seconds for us to be like, oh my gosh, the bikes just fell.
Yeah.
And they're just scraping the ground. My bike is it's okay, it's rideable, but it's definitely got some injuries.
Yes. Yes. No full-on casualties, but did not come away unscathed.
Yes, explain this. This is great.
So it was unfortunate, but also very lucky. And that's kind of the theme of all the things that have gone wrong. So on that trip, we had just gotten out of Memphis. And if you've ever been through Memphis, the traffic is awful. Mm-hmm. So we had just gotten out of Memphis and were exiting, actually, to get some fuel.
Yes.
And as we were slowly going off the off-ramp, we have a front loader bike rack, and it went whomp.
We both watched the bikes fall forward.
And it took us a couple of seconds to like register what just happened.
We're like,
because
what
we were
was
both
that?
like, something just happened. And in my mind, I was like, well, it looks like the bikes fell, but we didn't run over any bicycles, or we would have heard the crunch. So what happened? And then I thought, oh, they just fell forward.
Yeah.
And they're dragging across the ground in front of us right now.
And like we said, luckily that did not happen in Memphis traffic. It happened while we were exiting, already getting gas. So we're slowing down on an off-ramp. It happens. We get out, spend about 30 minutes or so figuring out what happened. We had lost a pin in that arm bar that holds them upright. So we took the bikes off, put them in the bed, in the bedroom, and then just bungee strapped that arm back up. So we were able to continue. We got gas.
Yep.
About an hour and a half later, after stopping, we're back on the road. Didn't quite feel like driving all the way to Birmingham at that point.
Not at that point, no.
So we stopped in New Albany, Mississippi at a Cracker Barrel. And every time we try to stop, or we do stop at those places, we try to eat breakfast there in the mornings. Just kind of show the support and the thanks for them allowing people like us to stop there and rest for the night. So, and then we got back on the road and headed to Birmingham, where we stopped the next night.
Yes.
Now, what went wrong that day?
That was the day the serpentine belt broke.
Yes. Oh my gosh. How can I forget that one?
You stupid bull.
So, the serpentine belt breaks, and we start smelling a burning rubber because part of it had fallen on a hot part of the motor. You could start smelling that burning plastic and rubber through the air conditioning vents. So we stop in Carbon Hill, Alabama, where we met some very nice police officers on the Carbon Hill Police Force. It's always a little bit of an iffy situation approaching officers, especially for us.
We're the kind of people who aren't typically,
we're not the call the police kind of people.
Right. We have a hard time telling who the good guys and who the bad guys are.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
But we had
a great experience with the Carbon Hill Police Department. They were extremely helpful to us.
Two very nice gentlemen. I wish I knew their names.
I know. They were extremely nice, extremely helpful. They got us in contact because the closest place that we could take the RV was about 10 miles.
About 7 minutes. I think it said 7-8 minutes.
Something like that away. So
which it would have taken us about 15
right.
to try to get there slowly.
Chugging along.
Yeah.
So not super far, but we really didn't want to have to drive it with the belt broken and risk causing further damage. So that's why we went ahead and approached the police officers that were in there to see if they knew of anyone who could come out and meet us at the gas station, travel stop, and fix it for us there. Because we knew a serpentine belt was an easy fix.
Right. We just didn't have a serpentine belt.
But we don't have a serpentine belt. We, are in somewhere where we have no idea where anything is. So we approached them, and they just said that they knew someone, so they gave him a call.
Yeah.
And he ended up coming out and helping us out, getting us a new serpentine belt and installing it for us, and getting us back on the road, and hardly charged us anything. I mean, we were very thankful for the people of Carbon Hill, Alabama.
Absolutely. It seems like a really nice little community,
Yeah.
and we had a good time there. We had to spend about 2.5 hours at this gas station. It was a very nice gas
It
station.
was a really nice little travel stop.
Rolling Tea, something
Like that.
Very nice little gas stop there if you're in the area. They have a lot of different options for food, snacks, and showers. They had some like t-shirts and stuff even. It was just a
there's a
little
little
automotive
cafe
section.
inside there. They have like wine and stuff for sale. A little like almost bakery. They had like cupcakes and stuff.
And some kind of offices in the back too. I didn't see what they were, but like just a really nice gas stop if you're passing through. It's a good one to stop at for sure.
Yeah, just outside of
really lucky.
Jasper.
Yep, just a little north of Jasper, I think.
Yeah.
About 10 minutes north of Jasper, so.
Yep.
Nice stop.
Yeah.
And then we stayed in Birmingham, which we stayed in, Overton.
In the Overton area. It's just like South Birmingham.
Yep. We had a really good experience with drinks and food at the Black Market Bar and Grill.
Yes. I will say that was the only Cracker Barrel we stopped at that didn't actually have any designated RV parking.
Yes.
But we went ahead and gave them a call to make sure whether it was okay or not, because there were a couple other ones along the way that we could have stopped at, but we just had researched Overton and saw that it was a safe area, so we had chosen that one to stop at. So we called to make sure it was fine, and they said, yeah, no, that's totally fine. Just don't park up close to the building.
Yeah. And so
give space for other customers. And so that worked out great.
Yeah, we had no issues there. Speaking of safe area, though, that's the only place we stayed at where I was kept awake basically all night by sirens and teenagers, I'm assuming, racing
in the middle of the night.
Street racing and yelling and hooping and hollering. So
there was some
might not be a lot
for
of crime, but it definitely was the least like peaceful place that we stayed
That's
along
true.
the way.
That is very true. It seemed like a pretty affluent area. And so I think as far as like property and violent crime, you're probably safe. But one thing we noticed was that probably the worst drivers we've ever encountered in our entire lives were in Birmingham, Alabama.
Yeah,
and so
it was so hard to drive there.
Yeah.
It was so stressful.
It would even be stressful in like a regular car.
Yes.
Like much more doable, but still very stressful.
Yeah,
but
traffic was bumper to bumper. People
bumper.
wouldn't let you in.
Not courteous drivers.
No. It was one of the worst cities I've ever been to, in my opinion.
Yeah, as far as traffic goes. And that's the thing, too, because everyone warned us about Atlanta traffic and stuff, and we've driven into Atlanta a couple of times since we've been here. And yes, absolutely.
It's crazy.
There's a lot of traffic, but the drivers are courteous.
Yeah, they'll let you in. They'll flash you with their headlights to let you know you can get over.
Yes.
And people know when to merge, when to get over. It's very fluid driving.
It has. I would take Atlanta traffic over Birmingham traffic so far.
Literally any
day of the week.
Yeah. And so speaking of where we are now, right?
Yeah.
Villarica.
So final day of travel, more or less, brought us from Birmingham to Villarica, Georgia, which is on the west side of Atlanta, about 30 miles outside of the city. And we're at this little RV park for the week because when we were looking for a place to stay long term, we were having a lot of trouble. And if you guys have watched our previous videos, you may know the advice about being careful if you have an older rig. A lot of long-term places especially will not take rigs that are older than 10 to 15 years old.
And ours is 30.
Ours is 30. So, we got very fortunate in the end to get the place that we got. It's a beautiful area, it's sought after, and that's where we'll be going next week. But while we were on our hunt, we found this place that actually had availability, because between being an older rig and other stuff already having been booked up even months in advance, we were struggling.
We started
to find
looking
a
2 months in
place.
advance and still couldn't really find anything.
Yeah, we were struggling. So when we found that this place had an opening, we went ahead and took it so that we would have, at the very least, buy ourselves a week once we got here to find another place.
And it's extremely affordable, this place. I'll go ahead and mention the name and everything. It's called Sweetwater Valley RV Park in Villarica, and it's about $26 a night.
Yeah.
They only allow 2-week stays, and you can only book 1 week, and then with approval, you can book another week.
Yeah.
Uh,
Especially
so,
right now because they're undergoing some renovations.
Exactly.
Updating electrical boxes and things
Yes.
like that. So
So,
not all
yeah.
the sites are open at all times right
Exactly.
now. So it's a little bit harder to book out a full 2 weeks and stuff. But it's been nice. The only
Yeah.
thing that they don't have is sewer hookups.
Yeah.
So, but they do have a shower facility. So we've been going ahead and using their showers. So we don't fill up our gray water
Exactly.
tank too fast and have to dump too early.
Yeah.
And they have a laundry facility.
which
that
we've used too.
we did laundry yesterday, and everything worked great. If you need a stopover place, I will say the entrance and driveway
Mm.
and parking situation is a little bit tight. So if you are in a larger rig, you need to know how to drive it.
And you might just look somewhere else.
If you're-
honestly,
if you're-
depending on how big your rig
I would
is.
say if you're over the 40-foot mark, maybe look somewhere else.
Yeah, with one of the nights, the first night we'd gotten here, or we got here during the day, but at night we got back from kind of looking through the town and everything, and I had to end up helping somebody kind of back their 45 or 42 foot
yeah.
rig back into
Our
their
neighbor.
spot, our neighbor actually, because it's so tight. There's things on both sides of the road. The roads are very one way. They're like the width of an RV.
Yes.
So definitely be aware of that if you're coming in a bigger rig. But ours is 29 feet, and I really didn't have much trouble.
No,
It wasn't the
easiest.
exactly, but
Yeah.
but it wasn't too bad. If
It was-
you're in
it's
anything
doable, for sure.
under 35 feet,
I
I'd
think
say
it's fine.
you'd be fine. But anything bigger than that, you need to make sure that if you're coming during the dry season, so you can pull out into the yard, the grass areas, without getting stuck
Yeah.
to back into your spot.
Yeah, for sure. But outside of those few little caveats, it's great. It's nice and secluded in the woods. So there's a creek that runs along the backside of all of the spots. That's really pretty.
Got some peacocks up here. We got some goats
Peacocks
back
up
here.
there
You
and
know what I'm
goats
saying?
Over there, yeah. Then there's like a little rundown playground, but still would
It
be.
seems cool.
It would get the job done.
It's
you
cool.
know?
They got some like tires and some of like the little tubes, the pipes cut in half so you can race water, little boats and things.
Yeah,
you know, so it's really
a,
nice.
It's
though.
a little dilapidated, but it's got a lot of potential to
Mm-hmm.
be a good place. And there's like a picnic pavilion. And
It's
stuff
in a good
like that.
location
It is
too.
a good
Villa Rica is
location.
a nice little town. It's close to Douglasville, which is another nice town. And then you go past Douglasville, you're in Atlanta.
In Atlanta,
so,
yeah.
and we got to explore Atlanta some, which we have fallen in love with very quickly. It's a
Yeah.
very, very beautiful city. The people all seem to be very courteous and kind. We went and watched Dune 2
We did.
in at the one of the AMCs. I
Yes,
think.
it was an AMC.
AMC 15.
At the main event.
Yeah, it's like the one that's combined with the main event. It was so nice. Great theater, great people. What else did we do in Atlanta?
We went to Somerville.
Somerville,
and
that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, ate barbecue at this place. Oh gosh.
Woods Chapel.
Woods Chapel Barbecue. And
Delicious.
It's in Somerville in this little like what would you even call it? Like a little square where they have I think 3 or 4 little restaurants all in
Something
there, and then a
pizza,
little
Jay's
bit.
Pizza.
There's a pizza place and there's a chicken place.
And there's like the across the street. There's that little.
There's like
healthy.
a health food restaurant, and then like a sweets shop, I think, like
Yeah.
a bakery and sweets shop. And
in Somerville though, all kind of like in the Somerville
yes.
area.
Yeah, it's all in Somerville, but there was a nice little outdoor seating area
Mm-hmm.
that you can go, and like all of the restaurants.
Oh goodness. Oh goodness. Oof. Our neighbors are doing stuff, so
Uh-huh.
Raven's going crazy.
But anyway, there's like a nice little outdoor seating area, and
Mm-hmm.
there were just like families with kids playing cornhole, running around having fun.
Yeah.
So many people had their dogs with them on the patio on leashes and
Yeah.
everything like that. Somerville seems like a really cool community.
It does. It seems like a nice spot in
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta. The food was really good at Woods Chapel. Their sauces were fantastic.
Yes.
We're gonna go back on Wednesday for drag bingo
To the pizza place.
At the pizza place. So Yeah, something we really enjoyed was being. It's right over there by Georgia State University in the football field.
Yes,
So,
right by the Georgia State football field. Yeah.
we're going to the Stone Mountain area tomorrow.
Which is where we're going to be moving on
Mm-hmm.
Friday to our more permanent spot, which is at the Ghost Hill Campground in Stone Mountain.
Exactly. And, you know, I've got a couple job interviews tomorrow there.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to put your application in at a couple places. We have some acting gigs coming up at the end of this month and next month that we hope to keep you updated with. But other than that, that's about it. Oh, we're going to the zoo on Tuesday. Zoo Atlanta. And there's also, at Zoo's Day, there's also an amazing aquarium in Atlanta that
Yes,
we've got to check out. It's like the world's largest, or at least the United States' largest aquarium. So we're very excited about that.
Yeah,
Gonna
there
go check
is,
those out.
just from like the little jaunt we took into Atlanta the other day, we realized that there is so much here to explore
It's
that
so
I don't
big.
know if we'll ever get to explore the whole thing. But
Mm-hmm.
so far, we have had excellent experiences. We went to Douglasville last night to
Yes.
watch the UFC fights at
Yep.
Buffalo Wild Wings. I will say that was the only place
Showing the fights.
showing the fights
We even called Hooters
Yeah.
and nothing else.
west
Yeah.
of Atlanta
Yeah.
that we could find. Like in a 20 to 30 mile radius. That was the only place showing the fights.
And it ended up getting pretty full, not overly crowded, but full. Like every seat was probably filled.
Yeah.
People were hooping and hollering
Yeah,
and
it
cheering.
was a lot of fun.
Had a buddy, a guy we met sitting beside us that was super kind, and we talked about the fights a lot. He mentioned how much she knows about fighting and how cool that was. Told me she's a keeper, which I already knew. But yeah, we had a great time. It was fun. So we've had good experiences with food and people
Yeah.
and activities, and we hope to just keep building on that. And we'll have a lot more information coming up about our lifestyle and where we're living, what we're doing here in just a few days. Really,
Yeah.
5 days.
Yeah.
We'll be moving
We're
to Ghost
heading
Hill.
to our permanent spot. So we're pretty excited.
I'm so excited. I can't wait.
Everyone that we talk to about it keeps telling us like, "Oh my gosh, you're gonna love
You're gonna love,
You're gonna
Stone
love
Mountain.
Stone Mountain.
Yeah,
It's so beautiful. You're gonna love it there." So
we can't wait.
we've been hyped up pretty hard for this.
We've
so,
been enjoying this week of vacation.
yeah, we're kind
But
of like
we're ready to kind of get
unplugged,
back into a routine of life and settling into our new spot.
for sure.
So
Yeah,
it's gonna
definitely.
be a lot of fun.
Just trying to make the most of this week here, kind of being out off the beaten path.
Mhm.
We have no internet here outside of
It's
the
good
little,
and bad.
Yeah, the little bit of signal we can get on our phones. We have like no internet,
Mhm.
and so it's kind of a little rough, but also really nice to be kind of forced to disconnect and slow down and just enjoy time. You know, we're big nature lovers, so this is
Yeah.
kind of forcing us to get back into, getting outside for entertainment and stuff like that. So it's been really nice.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Well, guys, please be sure to like. That's going to help us out a lot. Subscribe to the channel if you're like-minded people. If you want to help build this community up, make sure to comment if you have any advice or any comments on our content. We'd love to hear from you and see how you do things and communicate back with you. We'd like to keep a very open community here. So
Absolutely.
just let us know.
And if you're just following along with the journey, living vicariously through us, please let us know what you'd like to see.
Talking to you, Melissa.
Because we will happily cater our content to whatever kind of stuff that
course.
you guys are interested in seeing about this lifestyle that's a little bit different than average.
Yeah, of course.
But all right, that being said, I guess we'll see you guys in the next video.
Bye.